Yeah, Box Ranch Granny. You know, on a cold day, there's two ways to warm up. Something hot and good in the tummy, and a little manual labor. I'm going to tell you about the hot and good in the tummy. Put this down. Now, I'm going to be making stew. I've already got my crock pot ready. I'm going to turn on this fire. And in this big old cast iron skillet, I've put 3 tablespoons of oil. And then I've cubed here. You can see I cut it in little cubes. 1.5 pounds of stew meat. And this is actually a sirloin roast, but it makes it really good. So I'm going to let that oil heat up because this is important to have a good old stew. And make some homemade bread. Goodness, that'll warm you up. I got half a cup of flour. And in my flour, I got half a teaspoon of black pepper and half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those into this stew meat and I'm going to coat it, make a nice little coating. And you should have just a little flour left over. If you don't, add just a little more because you want that. Now, when you got your meat coated and your skillet's hot, you throw that in the skillet, and we're going to throw all the meat with the leftover flour in there because that is going to make drippings. Oh, that'll make that stew so thick and good. Yeah. And we're going to let that cook. And what we're doing is we're browning each side of this meat all around and kind of cooking the flour just a little. But I'll show you here in a minute how it looks. Now, in my crock pot, I've got 10 potatoes and 8 carrots, half an onion, and I add 10 cups of water. And then I add 10 of the beef bouillon cubes, and I don't add any additional salt, not to my meat or any place, because bouillon cubes has salt in them. So we're not big salt eaters, but if you want more, you know how to make that good. You got this down. Then I add 4 teaspoons of cilantro, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, half an onion, a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and that's added to my crock pot, and I turn that on high. Now, I'm going to be cooking this on high today, which takes about 4 to 5 hours so that it's ready for supper. But you know, if you're going to have to be gone all day, you can get this ready in the morning, put it in the crock pot on low for about 8 to 9 hours. Makes it great. So you can hear we're stirring this up. And of course, the reason is because we want that thickness in our stew. That's the reason we've added the flour. But now another thing is, by this fire being really hot, we're braising the meat. We're searing in the flavors. It just makes a juicier meat chunk. Still tender, but juicy. And you can see right there, let me bring up one of these little chunks for you so you can see it. You can see that little piece is starting to get seared on the side. But we want them all. We don't want to see the flour. We want kind of a golden brown crust on this. And it's a light crust. It's not a heavy crust. And I haven't put a lot of oil in there because I don't want a greasy stew. I just want a juicy, thick with that soup in it stew. Now this is just great. You don't even have to cut your own. You can buy stew meat already cut in cubes. You just do whatever works best for you. Granny just likes to give you ideas of a way to do it that might be a little different. Now you hear me scraping. What I'm scraping up is the flour is on the bottom and it's almost acting like it's going to make a gravy. And of course we want all that flour in there. And if it seems a little dry, add 1 tablespoon more of oil. Add the oil a tablespoon at a time because you sure don't want too much in there. There, we got it. You can see that meat has got a nice little breading on it. And that's going to help thicken your stew along with your potatoes. Now, we're going to put this in the crock pot, shut it down. We're not going to touch it again for 4 to 5 hours. Whenever Granny gets back in from doing her chores outside, then she'll mess with it. And in the meantime, I've made homemade rolls. So, you guys know where Granny is. This is where the good stuff is. I'm so glad you came and joined me this week. And remember, pray to your Savior, Jesus Christ. God bless every one of you. And I'll see you next week. Bye now.